Now that you've previewed the text and turned and talked about it with your desk group, now it's time for us to read it together. Now, I'm going to be reading the text to you because there's a lot of old-timey words that we might not know how to pronounce on their own. Ms. Romano may have had to look up some of those words too. Now, again, it's so important that we understand the text because we're going to be doing a lot with this text today. We are going to be answering questions, doing a practice essay. So again, it's so important that we understand what we've read so we can answer all the questions correctly. So I recommend following along with me. We're starting on the first paragraph with in, okay? So in 1803, the United States purchased land from the French. This would be called the Louisiana Purchase. This land included 828,000 square miles and in the future would make up more than 15 states. With this purchase, Jefferson doubled the size of the United States. President Thomas Jefferson ordered an expedition to cross what is now the western part of the United States. It was the first American expedition to map and explore the newly acquired territory. He selected a group of U.S. Army volunteers under the command of Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. Their journey began in May 1804 and lasted until September 1806. Wonder how many years that is. 1804 to 1806. Anyone want to yell out the answer, 1804, 1806? I hope everyone's saying 2. So they spent 2 years going across the country. President Jefferson said their goal was to find the most direct and practical water communication across this continent for the purpose of commerce. So what he was trying to do was find a connection so they could get across so everyone would be able to pass back and forth goods and communicate. Their expedition was titled the Corps of Discovery. Now this is tricky because you think it's a P, so you think it's corpse, but it is not corpse. It is corps. This is a French word. So the Corps of Discovery. The U.S. Mint prepared silver medals with a portrait of President Jefferson called the Indian Peace Medal. They had a message of friendship and peace inscribed in them. Not crops, the Corps also carried weapons, flags, gift bundles, medicine, and other items they would need for their long journey. How long was our journey again? Oh yes, 2 years. So they probably had wagons and wagons and wagons of supplies. Their expedition began in St. Louis. St. Louis is in Missouri and made its way through the Continental Divide to reach the Pacific coast. The route took them up the Missouri River, then on the Pacific Ocean by following the Columbia River. The expedition established relations with numerous Indian nations. Without the help of these nations, the expedition would have risked starvation during the harsh winters. In October of 1804, the expedition entered the Mandan Nation's territory. That's Native American tribe. This is where they met Toussaint Chambeau and his young Shawnee wife, Sacagawea. Lewis and Clark recruited Charbonneau and the expedition's translator in November of 1804. Toussaint and Sacagawea had a young son who they also brought with them in the expedition. Sacagawea served as a guide and a translator. She also had an important role of talking to chiefs and easing tension to give the impression of a peaceful mission. The Corps met their goal of reaching the Pacific Ocean in November 1805 and established their claim to the land. They mapped topography, so that's mountains, of the land and recorded information about the language and customs of the American Indians they encountered along the way. On September 23, 1806, the Corps arrived in St. Louis, ending their journey. Since the expedition, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark have been honored over the years. So here, Meriwether Lewis, you see William Clark, here's them on a stamp, and here is a painting of them and their journey on the Columbia River. Here is also a chart showing us the dates, so in 1804, 1805, 1806, and the places that they would explore. Now, let's pause and make sure we're flipped and ready and shake it off and get ready for those questions.